I've been fighting fights my whole life, especially other people's fights. But the biggest fight of my life that I had to fight, I just let myself down, and I just gave up, and I didn't. I tried to protest, but she was like, "I've got your passport." That means that she broke into my house, got my passport because to book me my flight tickets while I was on my birthday week getting, the best time of my life with my friends. It's normal I'm 21.
Yeah.
It's normal I'm, gonna go do some fuck up things. Like, who doesn't? Okay, It's life. This is how you live. Like, yeah.
Join the journey, stay for a while.
Welcome to the first episode of KohPhanCast. I'm so incredibly excited to present you my first guest, my good friend. Her name is Eva. Eva is a perfect example that life doesn't need to go smoothly in order to progress. We shouldn't aim towards comfortness and towards not feeling bad feelings, because those have a huge part of our development as human beings. And she's been through a lot, and we love her a lot here at KohPhanCast. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being with us. Enjoy.
It's very bright in here. I know.
Well, the AC made a lot of difference. I'm the only motherfucker on this island that has an AC in his kitchen.
Maybe not the only one, but yeah. No,
Probably not.
an AC, a kitchen, and a studio, and a giant TV. Yeah.
I'm trying. I'm doing my best.
Cool.
There's been some thought going into it.
No, to be honest, it looks amazing. It looks great, and it makes you feel comfortable to talk and like.
Yeah, you like it?
Yeah,
That's great.
I like it. Good. So I'm gonna try.
How
to
good the ashtray go inside.
Perfect.
Like it was meant to be there.
Perfect.
It was meant to be there.
Right. So
Okay.
I suppose that we're gonna have to.
I suppose if you want,
or-
you can put the headphones. You don't have to. It will just make you like listen to yourself better. You can be more focused when. Try it. If you don't like it,
The topic is I need to listen more to myself.
the topic is like not really relevant.
No, I
It
mean, I really
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I do need to listen to myself a little bit more.
Now take the mic, okay?
Okay.
This I'm gonna do like that.
It reminds me of a French song. It's like a rap song. It's like Hazel Mike and make.
Oh shit.
I can actually hear you better without shouting in my ears. It's much nicer.
You can speak a little bit quieter.
Oh my god.
Yes.
that's
Now you take the
loud.
mic and you put it like they say like something like a box, okay? Like a hand, like a fist. Okay? Something like
Yeah,
that.
but doesn't depends on the size of the fist.
Actually, you're right. I haven't thought about it like that. But close enough, Something enough.
Right. Is that close enough for you?
It's close enough for you, yeah.
Right.
So now,
Because I'm gonna smoke. So if I'm gonna, like.
try just not to blow it on it. If you're like try to do it like
I mean,
elegantly,
that-
like
All right.
like if you speak towards here, you're like
Yeah, I get it.
don't need to be like aggressive, okay? So I've been
I'm not
thinking.
aggressive. I'm just joking.
I know.
All right.
I've been thinking about how do I want to start this.
Yeah.
Like kind of how do I want to open those? And I want to start with a compliment. Okay, I think that you, from a lot of people that I met around here, you are super genuine because you are not hiding anything from yourself.
From anybody, in fact, which is a problem for me sometimes.
Yeah, but like I'm speaking about the fact that like you're not afraid to feel like the emotional side of you. Sometimes it can get like probably too much for yourself when you feel like I can't do it anymore. But it's beautiful to see someone that is actually just loyal to what they feel and like doesn't give a fuck about whatever anyone says about them, and their emotional side is just it is what it is, and that's what I'm gonna do.
Thanks.
So it's beautiful to see that people are still like going like that.
That's very touching.
Yeah.
I subscribe.
Yeah. Thank you. your story is super interesting, you know, because I didn't meet a lot of people that are not Thai that was born here.
Yeah.
So if I may hear a little bit more about that.
Right. That's actually how I thought in my head this was going to start.
You can take it a little bit closer.
Yeah,
Yes.
sure, sorry. So basically, I thought I was going to tell a little bit of my story, like the big lines. And so my name is Plume. I'm 32 years old, and I grew up on KohPhanCast. I was born in France in 1992, and I was 8 months old the first time I came on this island with my two parents. And we would spend 3 months a year, and every winter in France we would escape and come here. And then I just spend more time here because my dad decided when my grandpa passed away that he would just wanted to come here and live there forever. So when I was about, I can't remember because my whole life is so fucked up. The timeline is sometimes a bit off. So I think I was about 7 or 8 years old. And then I spent the rest of my childhood and teenage years here. And then my dad had a dream of building this beautiful, amazing sailing boat all in wood in Indonesia on a very secluded island where they never had seen white people before. So that was like 20 years ago, yeah, or a little bit more. And so he went to Indonesia, built that boat, and then came back with it. We sailed from Sulawesi to KohPhanCast with that sailing boat, which was the coolest adventure ever, must admit. And then the boat sunk about a year after we got it here. And so my parents got in a big fight, separated, and my mum forced me back to France. I didn't really have a choice. So I got myself at 14-year-old, full teenage years, being like, yeah, in France, you know, but I grew up on a jungle, like in the jungle and on an island and on a boat. So going back to civilization was pretty tough, I guess.
Yeah, it must be kind of hard. But like, let's separate the things because, like, okay, your young years were here on the island.
Yeah.
Elaborate how it's like to be like a little girl, like learning here, like school.
Yeah.
How's the whole environment, especially when it was like you say 20 years ago?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I'm 32. So, well, let's say. So every 3 months, yeah. So we would spend 3 months here. So for the time I was just coming here for 3 months a year, it was super cool because it was like a big holiday, and I was the only kid in school like getting that long of a holiday, and I would have the teacher prepared some stuff from the school that I could do here on my own. So I was already quite independent on that. That gave me a independence, I guess. But growing up with my parents was a bit more complicated. But on the island in general, I was pretty much the only white kid around doing like hanging out with Thais. I mean,
And it meant it gave them like the feeling that you are outside or like hugging you even more.
but some of them were like, well, this was like 25 years ago, so
Yeah.
I guess Thai people at that time on the island were super friendly, were super warm, and because they didn't have all this abuse of years and years of abuse
Yeah.
of us, you know?
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, so Thai kids were either super cool with me, either the contrary. But when I was coming back to France, to my own village and school, I was bullied as fuck all the time.
Because
Because they were jealous, I guess, or because they couldn't understand why should I not spend a whole school year with them, and why should I be like more interesting than them, or like, I don't know. But I always felt different from all of them, and that was very hard. That was the hardest, like because I didn't belong with even with my own family. And when I say my family, I'm not talking about my parents. I'm talking about my family back home. And my parents were like very busy doing whatever they were doing, and I was left alone a lot. So that gave me, I think it's a good thing in a way, because like I'm super independent. I can do a lot of things by myself. But that created in me that giant massive hole of emptiness, and where love should be when you're a kid, that hole will never be filled up. Like, no matter how much love I get now,
Something is missing.
yeah, and it will always be, I think.
And do you think, like, when you say it, it will always be like that? Doesn't it, like, create a space that, like, you're bringing more of this, you're forcing this emptiness on yourself? You know, when you're saying, like, oh, the hole can never be filled, so you're actively...
That's a feeling that I have that it will never be filled, because it's so huge. And it's also something that I've talked about with psychoanalysts and professional people. And most of them, well, kind of told me that, you know, like, no matter how, no matter what, you will always feel like that in a certain way. That's why you really need to love yourself and give yourself, like, self-love. But yeah.
And as a small kid, like, going between Thailand and France and Thailand and France, and, like, you have your friends over there, you have your friends over there, and, like,
That was a
you're
nightmare.
basically twice a year getting ripped from your comfort zone and from the people that you love to go to
Very good
another.
point.
Yeah. So how was that growing up?
I think that's also one of the biggest reasons that I can't find myself to be stable today, because the it was not only Thailand and France, it was also Indonesia. So it was like France, Thailand, Indonesia, France, Thailand, Indonesia, like, always, like, you know, like, I thought it was at first it was just like France, Thailand, but then it got more. And yeah, it as a kid, when I was living in, I was fine with it. I was very adaptable. I could, like, you know, like, my parents were like, oh, we're happy because, you know, you can sleep anywhere in any conditions. Like, they made me sleep in some fucked up places. I must admit, like, some rats and, like, some giant cockroach, and, like, I think most of the people nowadays, if they would have lived those moments, yeah, they wouldn't.
And how do you think you coped as a small child? Like, what went in through your brain, like, thinking? How did you make the situation, like, good for yourself? You know.
Well, that's also, I was going to say something. Sorry. So as a kid, I was okay with it, but as a grown up, thinking back on it, like,
That's fucked.
It's completely fucked. And I think, yeah, my heart has been ripped apart between majorly two countries, and also my identity comes with that, because am I French, am I Thai, am I, you know, like, I want to be Thai because my heart is in Thailand, and also my half little sister is half Thai, and, like, for me, speaking the language, and also, like, you know, I was really living like them. So that's something really fucked up. But then again, I'm still white and I'm French, and so for white people I'm too Thai, and for Thai people I'm too white. It's basically what I would say black people are confronted to when they're in France. Like, we have a lot of immigrants, but most of them are actually born in France, but they're still black.
Yeah,
and they have that sentence. They always say, like, I'm too black for them and I'm too white for them. You know.
Yeah, like, I recently seen something that, like, about the immigration, like, in Europe, and you're seeing, like, people that are. It's not like they're their first generation. You know, it's not them who immigrated to the country. You know, you were born here. I was born in this country. Like, you cannot call me an immigrant. Like,
Yeah.
It's like the whole Islamic movement right now, you know, those guys were born in France, in Germany, in England.
Exactly.
You know, how can you tell them to leave? Because it's not like they came yesterday.
And you add on top of that religion matters, because all of them don't have the same religion. Then you got Europe now.
Yeah.
That's why Europe is so fucked up, because people are not, people are racist. Yeah. That's the major point, that, because, you know, sometimes you encounter situations and you're like, oh, this is so fucked up. And then you take this situation in your head, but you're like, okay, but this is even more fucked up, because in a way they're right, but in another way I'm right too. So who's wrong and who's right, you know?
Yeah. it's basically at the end of the day, it's the media. It's how you portray what's going on. Like, not that I'm trying to think like I'm having the answer or something. Like, I barely know shit these days. Like, everybody has their own opinion, and everybody
had the answers.
like, I don't have any answer to basically nothing. But guide me through it. Like, I've seen you like glow up when you talked about this adventure on the boat.
Yeah, it's true.
Guide me through it.
Okay. So basically my dad was a bit like me, meaning like every time he had these amazing dreams, these amazing ideas, but every time there was so many fucked up. Like, so what I remember is like my dad going away for months at a time, and I would stay with my mom. I gotta tell you guys, like, my mom is a psychopath. She seems very nice, and she was loved by everybody around me, and like, a lot of people were like, oh yeah, because she was servicing a lot of people. Like, she would be nice with everybody, or took care of everybody else's kids except of me. Okay, don't get me go on that point, but yeah, basically that's why I suffered the most of it, is my mom. And then my dad was away for so long, and then coming back and then going away again. So that's the first thing that really traumatized me. And because I was still doing, I was homeschooled, so I had to be very independent on that. And my dad was helping me with mathematics, which I still suck. So yeah, then after we got to go with my mom, with him, and then I started discovering another world, which was Indonesia, which was amazing 20 years ago. That was so to go anywhere in Indonesia at that time, it took days, and I mean days. I can remember one time we were in a bus made out of wood. I mean, the whole bench, everything except the outside was made out of wood, and there were chickens and a goat and some ducks and some people just like pissing and shitting in a bucket just in front of us, like in the middle of all that rumble, and it's just, the trip was 24 hours. And I remember not peeing for 24 hours as a kid with a small bladder. And I can know now that I can hold myself forever.
Yeah, it can wait.
Yeah, but it's a very traumatizing thing for a kid, because this kind of events where it happens, you're in public, you're a kid, and you just piss yourself, or some things like that. It's something that sticks to your mind.
Yeah.
And it was traveling in some very hardcore condition. So Indonesia, the people were amazing, but that's the time where we were, the USA started war with Iraq.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were in some places where a lot of Muslim people were pointing at us, being like, America, America.
Because you're white.
Because we were white.
Yeah, you're not even American.
That's what I'm saying about being too white or too, we come back to that point, actually. So yeah, it was also being woman there, because me and my mom would not, my mom is Jewish background, and I don't have any religion because, personal reasons, but my dad is Catholic, my mom's Jewish. I grew up in Thailand, which is an Asian country, Buddhism country. So yeah, for me, religion is a bit,
Yeah,
I believe in something, but yeah. So yeah, women there wear the hijab.
Yeah.
And in some places where we're not wearing the hijab, my mom was always like refusing and being like, being a bitch about it. And I remember that day at this market in is it Selayar? Selayar was the island we were. We were at the market, and a guy threw a bucket of piss.
No shit.
At us. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, there's some traumatizing. Again, it was a piss.
Yeah.
But, like, it's traumatizing, like, someone threw a hot bucket.
You remember? What did you feel while...
I was just disgusted, and I started, like, puking, and my mom was speaking to them in her Arabic, because she used to live in Morocco, so she spoke Arabic.
Yeah.
And they were understanding some of the insults, I think. So, yeah, we got really, really... And then we had to go through the market anyway, covered in piss, and we were looking for some water. And then this lady, she had a cage full of rats, and she just opened a cage of rats in front of us, live rats. So I was just like covered in piss, and then
Like,
rats.
what the fuck?
Yeah, right. Like you're a kid, and then suddenly, like, you know, you're having a nice time, and it's hot already, so it's, you know, you're struggling already, and then all of this shit happens. It's like, wow. So that was some kind of.
So the boat, your father with the boat took you from Thailand to Indonesia. So, please, yeah.
Sure. So, the small island where the boat was built is another, like 2 nights away by boat from this island with the rats and the piss. So just to get there, it takes ages. And when we get there, there's nothing on this island. This is like, it's fuck all. Empty. And then they built a boat with no electric tools, like by hand and with only hand tools. And it takes, when the boat is finished, this is a wonderful moment. I would remember and cherish it my whole life. There's like 200 guys with giant ropes and logs to pull the boat to the water. The boat has been built like maybe 200 meters away from the water, at least.
Yeah.
And so it's like Egyptian time, where you see all these guys being like, ah, ah. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's really like impressive. And but in between, there's so many things happened to my dad and to the boat. Like, he lost the giant screw of the propeller into an abyss of like 1,000 meters. So there's no way you're getting it.
Nice.
But to get another one, you would have to wait like 3 months or something. And then we finally get the boat ready to sail, and then we sail with a friend of ours, of my dad's, 2 friends of his, and then we sail from Sulawesi, Indonesia. We go up to Surabaya. To Surabaya, we go to Jakarta, and then we go to Singapore. And Singapore was very traumatizing. And what's it called? It's a path. Yeah.
Okay.
Not the path. What's it called?
I'm not really strong at geography, to be honest.
Yeah, it's good. They have the channel. It's a channel.
Okay.
It's a channel. Sorry. So we get into the Singapore Channel, and there's so many cargo ships, and like they don't stop. They can't stop. They don't have enough like time to steer away. So you have to be so really careful, and it's scary, really scary, because you're like, you're a kid, you're 10, and you like, look at your parents, and you're like, do they really know what the fuck they're doing right now? Because I don't really feel safe. Like, for example, that one time where we got into that storm. So it took us 2 months, to do that trip up to Thailand. And at some point we get into a storm, and there's like, I don't want to lie, because I don't know exactly how many meters. I didn't go into the water and like tape like, hey. There were about 6 meters, 7 meters high waves.
Really?
Yeah. That is scary as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't think I ever been that scared ever in my life, because basically you're on the boat, and you just like goes like that, and you're like, oh my god, everything inside the boat which is not attached is flying around. My god. You're like really fucking scared, and like, so it goes like that, and you just see the sky if you look up, and the sea if you look down, and then it goes the contrary, and it goes like, woo, and you know when you're on a swing, and you have that feeling in your guts that your whole stomach's gonna collapse. Yeah. I hate that feeling.
Me too.
Okay. We would have that for like 5 hours every time you go.
And how long was the waves like going for?
I think about 5 hours.
Oh,
I think
shit.
So. But then for 2 months, then that you are on a boat, and you don't realize the time. You just lose track of time. There's a little sound. Can you hear it?
I do hear it suddenly.
Where's it from?
I don't know. Let's
I
check it.
Maybe I've moved.
I'm gonna check it.
I think it's from here.
No, it's not a cable.
Isn't it?
Put the headphones.
Because that would be annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming.
You still have it? No, that's it.
It's gone. Thank you.
That's it.
Yeah. It's
Yes.
perfect now. Okay.
It's gone.
So yeah, you lose track of time.
Yeah, time actually doesn't exist when you're like shitting yourself from fear. Yeah.
Actually, it was not always scary. It was cool as well because that time we've seen like one dolphin at the front of the boat, and then
Mhm.
two, and then hundreds. I'm literally like
And by that
so
time,
grateful for that time.
what's your age by that time?
I'm like 12 years old, I think.
I don't know a lot of 12 years old kids that got to go through what you went through, you know? And like, because as I see it, yeah, the childhood was so unconventional, you know, you're probably dealing with those things that you see that doesn't have, that like that other people don't really have about themselves because they didn't get to experience the things that you did. That's probably why you don't really feel this stable.
This is why I was like, yeah, mature way too quickly.
Too quickly, like it is too quickly for a little girl, but as I see it, like shit just happened when it needs to happen, you know? Like when you say about yourself, like, okay, that was too much, it's meaning like half of you thinks that it's too big on you, but it was getting here for you to learn something from, you know? As I see it.
Yeah, my whole childhood was like, I was not very good at school when I was a little girl. Well, actually, no, it's not true. I was very good at school. I just didn't put the effort because I couldn't be bothered. And also, I had so much other stuff to learn, like how to survive with two drug addict and alcoholic parents. That's one first thing. Is like, it's really important that when you're a kid and you're surrounded by two toxic parents, the first thing you need to learn is how to survive.
Yeah.
And how to protect yourself.
And like let's go through it, okay? Like the boat at this time, like you're 12, and okay, you went from where did you go with the boat?
So we went from Sulawesi to KohPhanCast.
Yeah.
And so the whole cruise was interesting for 2 months. We didn't set foot on land, and when you go down the first time to land, after 2 months at sea, you cannot walk. You feel drunk.
Yeah.
You got that feeling when you're fucked up drunk.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's very funny actually, but it takes a certain time because on the boat you're always moving. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I like to, the image I like to use for myself. I'm on land. I'm not on boat anymore, and I'm trying to relearn how to walk
Maybe
and how to
the
step.
lack of stability.
Yeah.
Just stuck with you.
Yeah.
And when in your life did you get to the point of like, because you are a massage therapist?
Yeah. I do massage for emotional blockage, for people who have emotional blockage, which is ironic because I have and I had lots of blockage and lots of emotional problems.
Yeah, you want to be the person that can solve the problem that you have.
Well, my whole life I wish my whole life I wished that someone would help me with that. Yeah. And I didn't realize that I was helping people with that, actually. There's a lot of things I'm realizing now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
Yeah, because it's just easy for us to just look at anything but what is actually happens. You know, like trying to get our eyes at whatever going on outside instead of just focusing on what's going on inside and understanding that like you can perceive reality for what it is, not because you think it, but because you actually know it. You know, there's some things that they are super like tough, and it hurts to know that some shit are just not in our control and broke us here and there.
Yeah.
But just understanding the fact that like how you perceive it and how you choose your reaction based on what happens usually is the best cure that you have for your problems.
Well, first of all, you need to realize that you can choose how you react.
Yeah.
I did not know that. Like until not that long ago, actually. And people like you, for example, kept telling me like, yeah, but okay, this shit happened to you, but what matters is that what you do with it and how do you react to it. And I was like, yeah, whatever at first. And then the more people keep telling me that, I was like, oh man, fuck, that's so fucking right.
Yeah.
So also there's a funny thing is like, when you're a kid and you grew up in a toxic family with loads of problems around you, I remember being so conscious about some shit that kids my age would have never and should never be conscious of. But I'm now stuck in a 32-year-old body or brain, because I'm 32-year-old. My body's way older because it's way fucked up. but
That's what KohPhanCast does to you.
Yeah, no. Maybe. But like, I'm stuck in my 32-year-old body, and I'm conscious of some stuff, but I can't act on it. And I'm not conscious about some stuff that a 32-year-old should be conscious of.
Like?
Well, like I was not aware that I can actually control my reactions, or like I can choose to react a certain way to certain things or not.
Yeah.
You know, just that. Sometimes
reality can be so tough that like you cannot even look straight or think straight for a second.
And when it hits you in the face,
it all depends on the habits that you have towards it. You know, if you are used to like getting like waking up in the morning and the first thing you have in your mind is a bad thought, that's a habit. And like the more you're doing it, and the more you're doing it, and the more you're doubling down on this habit of like, oh, it's bad, everything is not good for me, and this happens, and you start connecting dots that aren't really meant to be connected, and creating a story in your mind which is like, oh, everything is fucked and I have no control over it.
And that's a story you make up in your head, and there's someone comes in your life and like, no, your story is not true, it's all fucked up, and you're like even more confused about things. And this is also a thing I've experienced, and I've got a very good example for that. Is my mother. My mother would wake up every single day, and the first thing in the morning she would do was like, shit, fuck, complaining at the first breath in the morning is like, and this is something I really, really struggled with while I was living with my mom, as the negativity. I'm a super positive person. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know a lot of people around me like don't even realize that, or tell me that I'm negative because when I'm complaining or whatever. I don't care. I know I am a fucking positive person. Simple as that. If I was not, I would not be alive. I would not be alive today. Yeah. I would have managed to kill myself, and I would have not be alive. But yeah, if you keep like being negative, like my mom at her age, she's almost like 72-year-old or something now. She still works as a cleaning lady, and she like not even declared. Like it's all like her life at her age.
She's in France now.
Yeah. I wouldn't dream of her life. Like no way.
Yeah.
She's got like the bare minimum, and she's struggling, but that's her fault. She chose that. She comes from a very well educated family. All our brothers. Well, one of them killed himself, but the rest of them like managed their life pretty easy, like pretty good and well. And she had all the opportunities in her life to do something for herself. And she didn't.
At what point you chose to look at her, see that like, okay, if I'm going to do what she's doing, I'm not going to get to the place that I want to be in. And okay, let's find my own route.
I think I was a kid.
Like, okay, this is not working.
Well,
obviously.
Just to the example of my mom, how she was with my dad and the relationship of them, like, oh my God, as soon as I knew how to think, or like I realized I was thinking, or I don't know how to say, but like,
Yeah.
as long as I can remember, I was like, I'm never going to be like these two motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Like, I really like almost didn't take my parents as example. But there are some things that you do, like, even if you don't want to do them, like you do mimicate your
Yeah.
parents.
Subconsciously.
Yeah.
Those are your, if you want it or not, those are your figures.
And then you realize that you're doing the same shit that you,
Yeah.
or like someone's like, oh my God, you're so like your mom. I'm like,
yeah, you think
no,
you're
I'm
so
not.
different, but yeah,
I'm not.
yeah, it's like, it's because you look at it from the side, you know. It's like, even if you tell your parents what they are doing wrong, they will not see it because the way they perceive themselves is different than what you see at them.
Oh yeah. When I say to my parents, or even to my dad, like my dad was very violent at some point, and even like with words, you know, violence is not only. I'd like to remind everybody that violence is not only fist or like punching or stuff like that. Violence can be also words.
Amen.
And this is very important to people to know, because for a long time I did not realize that I was abused, which it was an everyday thing. And then when I came to that point, that I realized that, everything they did with me was wrong. Most of it. But I mean, I know they try their best. I know, like, because a lot of people are like, oh, you're so harsh on your parents. No, they fucked up my life. So I'm actually very nice to them, because I try to help them.
For sure, but like, you can always look at something, even if it's like negative, you know, like I had some issues with my father as well growing up, but eventually I took it as, okay, so I haven't had like a real good positive father figure, but at least I got to learn what not to do. You know, and sometimes learning how not to act is much better than learning how to act, because you know what to just cancel.
And you have a background of knowing like what's wrong and what's
Okay,
bad.
so I might not know what I need to do, but at least I know what I'm not going to do.
Yeah.
You know, which is, I don't think it's any less of important. So
no, because it's in a negative way, people tend to like take it in a negative way, you know? So like being like, it's bad because I've learned it that way, so it's bad. So back to the point, which was the negative and the positive. I was on the spiral. So my mum would spiral herself down, which I did as well for a long time, and I still do sometimes. I try not to. So spiral can be reversed to good. And there's this amazing, beautiful quote from Native American quote, says, in life there's two wolves, one white and one black, and the one who survive is the one you nourish, the one you feed.
The one you choose to feed.
Yeah. So it's, again, it's about our choices. And choices is also a topic I want to talk about.
Please.
Because I remember, I really don't, just let me finish with that one. So yeah, we are all responsible of our future, of our destiny, of our everyday. I just feel like for me it's very hard to be acting. I'm very conscious of things, but I'm very struggling with the acting part. And so that started with the spiral. I was just dragging myself into drama, just dragging myself into bad situation, bad relationships, bad everything. And then at some point in my life, I can't remember when exactly, but I think it was around 20 something, 25. So that's it's not that long ago.
Not that long ago.
No, but I mean, like, compared to all the stuff I had, you know? Yeah. And I said to myself, like, because I was doing a little bit of therapy and like also self-learning about myself and all that, you know, work on myself. I was like, okay, fuck this shit. I'm so sick of being unhappy. I'm choosing this day right now. Mm-hmm. I'm choosing to be happy.
Yeah.
No matter what happens in my life, I will be happy.
And what was the first thing you done after like enough? What was the action?
Fair, I can't remember exactly.
It doesn't even...
I think I started to treat myself. Mm-hmm. I started to treat myself better. And it just happened like today again, because I I was having a conversation with this very nice guy I met, Chaim, and we were talking about self-love and all that. And the first thing I did yesterday was like having this nice risotto and 2 creme brulee. Like I had 2 dessert because I
Treat
wanted
yourself,
to. Yeah.
girl.
And I went to a massage and like,
Treat yourself.
Yeah.
Be there for yourself. You know,
Yeah.
you are the gateway for how people are going to perceive you, you know. If you look at yourself like this good thing that is going to bring change for yourself, for your loved
Yeah.
ones, people will have eventually no choice but to look at you at the same way, because that's
Yeah.
who you are. That's
But
who
you
you're putting out.
reflect. What you
Yes.
reflect outside of it, this also I didn't get before.
Mhm.
And I really like, I knew it, but that's something I wanted to say. Like, I've got so much to say.
Please.
There's something that people don't realize is that sometimes for years you talk about something that you think you know, but you actually don't get it.
Mhm.
It's like you know the information, but your brain still hasn't processed it, so you're just basically repeating stupidly something that you just don't get.
I can so relate to it, you know, like
Thank you.
so many times in my life, which
Thank
I was
you.
like, you're giving this 2-hour speech about I don't know, whatever, but do you even believe what you're saying, or you're just used to recycle the same thing that you don't
Exactly.
even know where you brought it from? And because you've been saying it for so long, and you are used to saying it again and again and again and
Yeah.
again, and it sinks in, and do you even know what you mean by saying all these things? Like how much percentages of your thoughts in your brain are actually authentic to yourself? You know, like how much of your thoughts are coming from something outside of you, something that you got taught by someone else, by society, by friends, by people that wanted something good for you or something bad for you, or to deceive
Right.
you. You know, like what is authentic? And then it's coming
And
back
how
to the
do you
point
not
of
get confused?
yeah, no, you cannot not get confused.
Right.
You know, that's the whole reality aspect of it. Like if you are talking to yourself, from yourself, by yourself, inside, okay, you can come with some good authentic things, but the more you listen outside and you absorb information, you need to actively choose what are you going to take with you and what not.
Exactly. That takes us back to choosing. We had this discussion, you and I, the other day,
Mhm.
last week actually,
Yeah.
about people always tell me these days, yeah, but it's your choice. Yeah, but this happened because you choose this. And I was like going crazy and tell you, like, I'm so fucking sick of people telling me it's my fault, it's my choice, blah, blah, blah. Because at the end of the day, look what I have to live through. So, okay, I have to explain the story a little
Please,
bit.
give me context, baby. Give me all the context in the world.
So after my 21st birthday in Copenhagen, my mother showed up just a little bit before that, after not seeing her for quite a while, years actually, and that was very good for me. She just like, oh, I got a surprise for you for your birthday. I was like, oh yeah, what is it? And I was on an after party. I was 21. I was smashed. I was, like, I was high, and I was having the time of my life with my friends, and then I don't even know why the fuck I pick up that phone. And that's one of the biggest regrets of my life, and it's a very important point that I actually realized just yesterday. So, sorry, I'm going all over the place. So yeah, I was 21, and my mom like called me, and she was like, "I got a surprise ticket, plane ticket for you back to France, like one way." I'm like, "What? What do you mean what?" So I was 21. I was just getting my first head receptionist job at the KohPhanCast, which is a big hotel here, and this was like 12 years ago, so
Yeah.
I would have been like so good now, with a work permit, like not struggling, like I would have been in place, like I had my dog, I had my little house with all my new furniture that I just bought, and I was also working a little bit with my dad, which this was not a good part of it, but I mean, I had my friends, my life, everything. You cannot just like take someone and being like, oh yeah, by the way, in 2 weeks this won't happen anymore, this doesn't exist anymore. You
Yeah.
just like, what? No.
Someone takes you and just
Yeah.
take you like a claw
Like
machine.
a crane, you know, this little in the machine, like when you
Yeah,
go to crane,
yeah,
like,
claw machine.
yeah. Oh my god. Basically, that's what happened. So this for me, I realized yesterday was talking with Chaim that I've been fighting fights my whole life, especially other people's fights. That the biggest fight of my life that I had to fight, I just let myself down, and I just gave up, and I didn't. I tried to protest, but she was like, "I've got your passport." So that means that she broke into my house, got my passport because to book me my flight tickets while I was on my birthday week getting, the best time of my life with my friends. It's normal I'm 21.
Yeah.
It's normal I'm, gonna go do some fuck up things. Like, who doesn't? Okay, it's life. This is how you live. Like, yeah. And like, sorry, I'm getting super emotional because it's really painful for me. Like, I was so depressed. I was so down that she did that to me and had so much stuff to do in 2 weeks to go out of the country. I didn't even get to say goodbye to most of my friends. I didn't get to pack all of my stuff. My little dog died in front of me in my arms because I was too busy packing, and I left the door open and she ran out and she was on the first hit. So she got hit by a car. And then, my whole world upside down, and I got sent back to France on the 14th of February, which is Valentine's Day. And there was someone that I really, really loved here. He's still here. He's not married to another woman, but he's still here. But still, it's not cool what she did. It's not cool at all. And I got catapulted in France in cold fucking winter. Like, it was -2 degrees when I arrived in Paris, and it was 34 degrees when I left Thailand.
Yeah, that's a gap.
That's
a gap.
canyon, man.
Yeah. That is a canyon.
So choose. Sorry, I just finished this because then I'm gonna forget.
Go
so, for me, every choices that I had to do after that were choices that I would have never had done. I would never
have to deal with. Yeah.
If she hadn't choose that for me. She chose for me to go back to France, and because let me be clear with you guys so you understand, I haven't been able to come back for 10 years to Copenhagen, and in these 10 years I didn't see my dad for 9 years, and my dad just passed away 6 months ago. That's why I'm back on the island. So it took me 10 years to come back. So choices, we can talk about choices. So for me, it's unfair because everything that happened after that, it's choices I had to make because of our choices.
Mm-hmm.
So that's very
definitely unfair. 100%. I do agree, but something about this reality that you have in your mind about what could have happened if that move, if she didn't do it to you, that's at the end of the day, it's fiction. It's a story that you thought about in your mind probably like thousands of times.
A lot of people tell me exactly what you say, so go on.
It's because at the end of the day, what happened, and there is no really any way to change it. The only thing that you do have to do with it is to take the good things that can make you like, what in this move made you be a better person? What in this shift, this ugly like a cut of reality from your birthday straight away back like a 26 degrees gap between two countries, what by that made you a better person? What helped you help others? And just one thing that you said earlier about fighting your battles and fighting others' battles, but I think that you fighting others' battles is the cause of you subconsciously ignoring how big was this big of a battle that you didn't want to deal with. So you chose, instead of deal with it, just to deal with every other person's problem because it's a little bit more far from you. You know, because it's a little bit easier to help others
Yeah,
than
definitely.
to face yourself.
Because my problems were so big. And also, I think I have I have parts of my life that I do not recall. Like, literally, I know that they're there, but they've been erased from my memory, like from trauma. I know that. So that's something I've been working on, as well with psychiatrists and stuff. So, yeah, that's. Let me think. So a lot of people who I've been telling my story to exactly say that the same thing than you. It's like, I know that I cannot change what happened, but none of my parents ever recognized what they did.
Yeah.
So how can you grow up and make yourself an adult when you have all of these issues created by others, created by someone else, and then being like, yeah, it's my choice? No, that doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
That cannot work like that. Especially not in your head. When you already have all this trauma. You already have like fucked up background. Add on top of that the society, and you know, I'm super sensitive, so I do care about fucking polar bears and like, you know, like the global warming. About, I see also a lot of people being more and more dickheads and like more and more self-conscious and like not caring about others, and like the whole world is fucked up.
Yeah.
So I'm sensitive to that. Add on top of that my trauma. Add on top of that, you know, it's, yeah, I'm a fucking ticking
All
bomb.
of this, but I don't believe that you see yourself as a victim, you know?
No,
You
I
are
don't.
not a victim.
I don't.
I know that you know that.
And
you
that's
know?
a very annoying thing when people are telling me, yes, stop being the victim. Fuckers.
It's not-
I am not a victim.
Yeah.
I never was a victim.
Yeah.
I was raped. I was abused. I was like, I'm not a fucking, and I never was a victim.
Yeah.
But people try to victimize me because it's easy.
Yeah.
It's easier for them, you
Just
know?
to say, oh, she's saying this and telling that. So, yeah, she thinks she's...
It's easier to then face my
to
problems.
dismiss.
Yeah.
To just... Another one. Yeah.
Like, it's easier for me to not face my problems and help, because I did help a lot of people in my life. I spent my whole life helping others. And back to the point we were making,
Yeah.
is like my mom, like, then used me because I was paying her rent to stay there in France. So I think that unconsciously, because she did that the first time when my parents separated when I was 13 years old, yeah? Or 14, like, I went back to France the first time. She did the exact same thing. She was alone and she needed her punching ball, which was me. So even though I was 21, she thought I was struggling, which I was actually just starting my new adult life. So only they deprived me of my childhood. I'm realizing this while I'm speaking, by the way. She also deprived me of my young adult life.
Yeah.
Because then I was staying with her in a shed. Like, she had renting that house, and we like put a shed in the garden so I could have my own bedroom. Like, it just was fucked up, you know. Like, I was
Yeah.
kept as a dog in a fucking garden. Like, oh yeah, I didn't have access to the bathroom all the time, or the fridge, or the food. So I got a lot of like problems, like, you know, like anorexia and stuff like that. So yeah, wow, sorry. What was the point again?
There is no point at the end of the day, you know?
No,
like,
it's just
we are
sharing, but, like,
just
still,
putting
like-
things up. Like, recently talk about the fact that, like, you came back to the island recently and you had the whole story of, like, the symbolization of the boat for you as you were a kid.
No, but that's not, sorry, it's just about the choices you make, you know.
Okay, back
and,
to the
like,
point that we had.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Of course, the point.
No, like,
Yeah, I know. I just people must be so confused if they listen to that.
let them be
I'm confused
confused.
too, by the way.
Let them be confused.
So, yeah, about choosing, like, everybody says, like, it's your own choice. Sometimes it's not your own choice.
Yeah, but you don't need to take what others tell you at the end of the day. You know, like, you can always listen. Listening is good. But to absorb it into yourself and, like, make it your reality is 100% your choice. When someone says that's your choice, they're not... I don't know what they're meaning. Yeah, I am not trying to be a lawyer for anyone. But, like, you can perceive what they're saying as how you want to listen to it, you know? It's your choice. Yeah, it's my choice to wake up in the morning. It's my choice to be the best version of myself. It's my choice to actually learn every day and optimize whatever I can do. And, like, I don't need to be perfect. I am not perfect. Nobody is perfect.
Nobody is.
You know, the more you think you are close to it, the farther you are from it.
Exactly, because I'm a perfectionist. And if I look at my life right now, it's like the opposite where I want to be.
The amount of people that I've seen that call themselves perfectionist and it actually bringing good quality of life for them is probably zero.
Right.
You know, when someone says he's a perfectionist, they immediately I hear, okay, you want everything to be perfect, and until it's perfect, you ain't doing shit.
That's the worst part of it.
You know, so I rather just, even if
because
I call
it comes
myself...
from trauma. The answer is easy for that. It comes from trauma.
Mhm.
Being a perfectionist, guys, it's not, because I know a lot of people were like, you hear the word perfect in perfectionist. So people think it's actually, you know, like the beauty of making everything perfect. No, it's not. It's the struggle of a traumatized person trying to do something and that person feeling so shit and so traumatized that it will never be good enough for them, so they're just even scared of starting to do it. And it's actually one of the things I'm dealing with.
And that's also
today.
a definition that you make in your head, you know? Like, the definition of perfectionist can be whatever you think it is, you know? And whatever you think it is will eventually go out and be your reality.
Yeah.
You know, so as I always tell myself, you know, the only person that I'm going to be around until my last day of my life is myself. So the only thing I can do for myself is to just be, I don't want to say positive, because negativity has a huge part of success also, which
It
me
does.
too, I learned also only the last few years. I had a huge step of my life of like toxic positivity and looking like a horse in a track, looking only straight and no right and no left. And the right and left was so important to me growing, but I suppressed it for so long that the snowball of pain in my heart just became bigger and bigger and bigger, so much that you're like, you don't even know how
You're
to
a ticking
deal
bomb.
it. You know, you don't even know how to deal it with, because you chose to ignore all the small, easy things and let them become like this huge monster that you don't know anymore.
Yeah, it's very confusing.
Just be kind to yourself. Just allow yourself to heal. The time that we are going through right now, it's not easy for anyone. If someone tells you, I got it together, everything is perfect,
Bullshit.
this motherfucker is lying. Like, we are all going
Nobody
through
does.
something. Everything is so stressful. The world, our soul, like the whole period is so hard that like all we have to do is just to be kind to ourselves, just to be kind to others, just allow others the safe space, be the safe space for others, let others be safe space for you, and just speak your truth.
Just fucking kindness, guys.
Just speak your truth. It's so easy.
Oh yeah, stop lying. So,
You know,
what is up with everybody and lying?
Just allow yourself to be. Don't look at yourself as this figure that you have in your head. Don't be who you want to be. Be who you are. Just exist. You know, this whole productivity and efficiency, like,
allow yourself to
everybody
take a breath,
has to be an influencer. Everybody has to have a voice that means something. Just, you know, like, the meaning of life is to just exist and die one day.
Yeah. We put way too much pressure on ourselves.
Why? What are you running after? You know, like this rat race that we are all trying to get to the end. The end is death. Like, just stop to look around. You can miss it. You can miss
Yeah.
who loves you. You can miss being again a safe space for others,
Yeah.
and like to be able to love others fully.
And to
Stop,
share.
breathe, enjoy the moment, enjoy the ride. Nobody's running after you.
Yeah, that's the thing I'm really stressed out about is time. And we also talked about it last time. And it's like, I'm always late. No matter what I do, I'm always late, guys. It's like something I'm struggling with the whole time. And I'm really stressed out since forever to be late because I'm so unprepared. And my thing is I always I put it to the next day. So I'm a queen at procrastination. And it really annoys me because I'm always late. I'm never ready in time. I'm never and this makes me lose opportunities. But the more I stress about, the more I am doing that.
Yeah.
So it's what you just said relates to that because if today, again, good example, today, I was supposed to wake up at 7 a.m. So I set my alarm. I tried to go to bed not too late. And I had a good 6 hours of sleep and I woke up at 5:30. So I'm like, oh, well, too early. So I'm going to go back to sleep. And I woke up again at 1:30 this afternoon.
Oopsie poopsie.
Yeah. So I had to squeeze in my whole morning into a 2-hour break and even delay this podcast because, and so yeah, I do that all the time.
What's the solution for you? Where's the action? You speak about action.
For now, I realize that I really need to take a big breath and just stop whatever the fuck I'm trying to do because it doesn't work out. I need to relax. I need to let go. And I need to take a deep breath in and really let go of all this tension and fix my body, starting to fix my body. And after then I'll be able to take actions, I think.
How long have you been doing the massage therapy? What's this part of you?
Okay, so I started the story of the massage. I started to watch this old blind guy in Mayheart Beach when I was a kid. I must have been 4 or 5 years old, and he was called Papanit, and there were a couple Mamanit and Papanit, and then he was blind, and I just watched him, and then one day he just take my hands and put it on someone's body and just kind of explain to me, but at that time I don't know if I spoke Thai again. I learned Thai, French, and English at the same time, so I don't really know when I was a kid. But the point is, I always liked it. I was passionate about it, and my parents were always asking me to massage them, or if they had a friend coming at home and they had a back problem, I would be the one, and I would be happy to do it. I'm just realizing now how weird it is. But I always had this thing with my hands. I'm very tactile.
Mhm.
Tactile?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that works.
I like to touch. I think that in a relationship, even a friendship, when your hands, your body language, and you exchange not only words, you exchange smiles and feelings, touch, and it's important. Hugs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also scientifically proved that humans need to be hugged at least once a day.
I heard that something about a 90-second hug releases a certain what's the word, it's not dopamine, it's the other one, endorphins, I think.
Serotonin or
I don't know.
Yeah.
So
one of the in.
Yeah, one of the ins, and you're more relaxed. You just let yourself, it's love, know.
But real hugs, okay?
Yeah.
These people
Long,
these people will go around with these free hugs board in the street, and we have to do that in Europe because actually everybody's so depressed, But I found out that people don't even know how to hug.
Is there a way to hug? Please teach me.
Okay.
How do you hug?
For me, a real hug. I mean, that's my point of view, but I think
a true, authentic hug.
A true, authentic hug would be really like you take the person in your arms, really like both like each other really have to embrace each other's body, yeah, and the heads are really like connected to each other, like neck to neck, and the eyes needs to be closed, and really like when you come in, you take a deep breath in, you know, and when you're hugging, really like as long as you're hugging, you're like breathing out slowly, and then you can really feel that hug. You can really feel that love in between the both of you. Like in that moment, nothing else exists around you except of that hug.
Which
That's
is even a
very-
bigger lesson, you know, like if you could live this, if you could use this trick of the hug, of just being in the moment and just apply
Yeah.
it to every moment of your life, of you just being able to just be there, like thoughtless, no past, no future, just
No judgment.
here.
No judgment.
No judgment is an important one, you know, but these days it's so easy, like it's not even a decision to judge, you know. You look at someone, you see how they dressed, you see tattoos, piercings,
Oh my God,
whatever.
we're so used to judge.
Yeah.
Even people who are like, I'm not judgmental. You do it not on purpose because you
Yeah.
are used to being in that society who judges every single
Yeah.
inch of yourself.
Yeah,
It's terrible.
that it is terrible, but at the end of the day, it's like a mechanism that we have in order to protect ourselves straight
Yeah.
from the ego. You know, like they say, like when I've done Vipassana in Nepal, the Dharma talk was surrounding about the sanskaras that you had in your brain. Sanskara, through their mind, is like you have 3 of them in your mind, and those are the gates that is like the barrier between you and reality. They say that the first sanskara is like taking a stick and running it through water.
Yeah.
It creates a stream, but it will disappear immediately.
Yeah.
You know, it's like for the shorter memories, you know, things that happen and completely disappear, and you don't really have to deal with them because it's a second. The second sanskara is like taking a stick and running through sand. You know, like you can see the trail, but the water will eventually come and it will disappear. Those scenarios are a little bit like farther, you know, like a fight with the boyfriend
Yeah,
or
yeah,
little
definitely.
things. And the third sanskara is like taking a stick and running through stone. If you made a scar to the stone, it's there to stay. Childhood trauma,
Yeah.
things like that. So
Yeah.
you being able to understand that you look at reality through those 3 gates allow you to get back your courage, to get back your power,
Yeah.
and decide that no, I am not looking through these gates anymore. I want to perceive reality as it is. Like I said, not because I think about things that show me what reality is. It's because
Definitely.
I know what is going on around me. It's because I choose to look at things with compassion,
Yeah.
with love, with understanding, with
Yeah, the
acceptance.
scars are still there. They will always be
There
there.
will always be there, but your
I'm
relationship
okay
with
it.
them.
I'm okay with it.
Yes.
Definitely. That's a very good. Thank you. That's a very good image. Yeah, it's a very good image. I like the the comparison. My dad was always telling me like, but come on, you're not an adult who lives like with his childhood trauma. Like, you don't live with a childhood trauma your whole life. And I'm like, well,
If
but-
you don't deal with it, you do.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
And also, like, if you deal with it, you will still do. Like, childhood trauma are, like, the worst. We all have them. Just in different different
Mhm.
levels, right?
Yeah.
But we all have childhood trauma. But it's something, like, one of my psychoanalysts told me once that ourselves were, like, compared to a building,
Mhm.
if the base of the building is unstable,
Yeah.
well, obviously the
All the
rest
rest
of
is
the
gonna-
building
yeah.
is going to be fucking unstable,
Yeah.
because you cannot build something straight and perfect on something which is not, like, it's completely contrary. It's not stable
base is
adult.
super
Yeah, yeah.
important.
Right. The base
Yeah.
is the base.
Yeah.
That's why it's called the base.
Yeah, because it's there to
Right.
keep all the rest. But what's important for me, at least, is not. I know that I have some trauma for sure, much less than others. Like, I was blessed to have the best mother alive.
Yeah.
That kept me like an umbrella from the rain, and
Yeah,
I
I'm always
never got
jealous when you talk to me
soaked.
about your mom. I'm like, oh.
She's the best human being ever created, and like, the trauma that I did have never came from parents, but understanding that the trauma was put there for me to rise above,
Yeah.
to learn the lesson, for it to make me what I need to be for myself and for others. The moment the relationship between me and my trauma changed, I got to understand the fact that, okay, it's not what it is, it's what I make of it.
So let me ask you a question. How long did it take you to realize that you could grow from your trauma and you could like use them as a force and like do things like that?
It took me, I think, I had a huge period of my life, I think from around 22 until like 25, 26, 27, that I had to like,
So like 5 years.
around 5-6 years, that I had to
Right.
convince myself to force feed myself into positivity. I needed to go through this toxic positivity movement in order to get back to the middle, to the balance. But I needed to understand that the change can only come if I actively bring it.
Okay.
I will not wake up one morning with a thought that like, I get it. It doesn't work like that.
No, it doesn't.
I need day after day after day to remind myself, to tell myself,
Yeah.
to shove in my brain all the positivity. I hate the fake it till you make it, but it is what it is. I had to lie to myself at the start that everything is okay and everything is beautiful. Yeah, it took some time, and I needed
It's
to
not
break.
lying. Don't use that. No.
Yeah, it is not
like,
lying.
No, it's not lying. It's just putting
Emphasis.
what's it called? Like in French we say un trompe-l'œil. It's like when you paint something on the wall and it looks real but it's not real.
Yeah.
What's it called?
I don't remember. Sorry.
Well, anyway, it's like a fake a facade. It's a facade.
Yeah.
You don't lie to yourself. You just
It wasn't lying. It was just introducing
No, but we said
myself to
lying
a
is not
new
good.
way of thinking.
and lying to ourselves is terrible.
Yeah, no, I didn't lie to myself. I just introduced my mind into a new
You
way of
tricked
thinking.
your mind.
Yeah,
That's it.
not even tricked,
Yeah,
but
zero
like,
trick.
like just, you know what? Look, that's a new way of thinking. You still don't believe it yet, but the
But if
more
you
you
try
look at it,
yourself-
the more you look at it, the more you let it, the chance, it will eventually sink
Yeah.
in. And by now that I'm like, in December I'm gonna be 30, like, I'm addicted to the way I'm thinking. Like, I don't get this first wave of like, oh fucking shit, I hate it. Like, it's immediately like, okay, I see why it happens.
That's what I really liked about you the first time we met. I was like, what the fuck?
I had to train myself. I just
Yeah, but
had to.
you should be so proud of yourself because like it took me 20 fucking years to realize that. It took you 5 years.
Again, the credit is not mine. The credit.
No, but like,
It's like I got raised well. I got raised to love, to be compassionate. I got like, I had all the space that I needed. Like, I was never, oh, you have a curfew, you need to be here by this hour. I always got my meal at time. I was a really quiet kid, I didn't care about playing outside. I really liked my computer. Like, I really enjoyed like that's the best and the worst in me. It's like, I'm so good at being alone. Like, I need people for sure, but if they are not there,
It's
I'm gonna
okay.
survive.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be bored for a second.
Yeah.
Like, after I've done my Vipassana at Nepal, so at the middle of the Vipassana, the sky closed. I got stuck at Kathmandu in Nepal for like 6 months. I've been 6 months alone over there. And
Wow.
like, that wasn't a problem for me. I was just living day by day, like listening to podcasts, doing some like training, and like poof, 6 months went by.
Yeah.
I didn't really care, you know. I talked to my mother here and there, to some friends here and there, but I was completely stuck, like for 6 months at the same hostel, and like life was beautiful because I always had the capacity to look
And you
on
accept
the
it.
bright side. Yeah, acceptance. That's
Yeah,
all.
you just accepted your situation.
Just to understand that me being a bitch about it, you know, will not help me get to where I want to be.
Yeah. And also, that's something a friend of mine tells me a lot. Well, it's actually the friend I was with earlier. I bitched about. I didn't know you were recording. I assume completely what that I was in a free.
No. You talked about it over there. Like it didn't get it. It's all good.
All right.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have totally accept that.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, because I would say that to her face. I'm gonna
Mhm.
tell her that.
It's all good.
But she's always telling me like, you know, you don't need to get angry. That's not gonna change anything, or you don't need to stress about it. Yeah, I'm a very stressed out person these
Yeah.
days, especially in my situation now. So you telling me not to stress about it and that I don't need to stress about it makes me even more
Yeah, like
stressed.
I see the cause of you saying it, and I appreciate the the
just
thing that
shut
you
the
mean.
fuck up.
Yeah, but like you dismissing the state that I'm currently in is annoying.
Yeah.
And like, please, like, if you want to help, just
Just
be
don't say
here,
that.
hug me,
Yeah.
say nothing, no words, just
Yeah.
be here.
Like, I really love this person, but I struggle, like a lot of other persons around me these days. I struggle to deal with the attitude. My patience, I've got no patience whatsoever these days. I'm a very patient person, but I got to that state of like, yeah, after everything that I've been through these days and everything I'm working on myself and all that, I don't have time for this and I don't have no patience. So
The bullshit meter, it's
yeah.
this
It's like
small.
one drop of bullshit,
Yeah,
I'm exploding.
enough. Yeah.
And I try not to feel guilty because guilt, guys, also doesn't help. Let me tell you, been there, done that. Yeah, I also try to stop feeling guilty for everything that I should not be feeling guilty.
Yeah.
So one more point.
Yeah, guilt, shame.
Yeah, guilt, shame, you know, like regrets and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like, oh, I should have done this, I should have
Yeah.
done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, if you think you should have done this like this, then note it, write it down. Like, literally, like, don't do like me. Write it down. Because I didn't, and now I'm starting to write it down. So, write it down and then learn a lesson from it. Just try to remember that next time in a situation like this, being like, oh, wait a minute, that rings a bell. Go to the book, read, and be like, maybe then I should react like this now, and you will.
Yeah.
And I'm really
Let
trying to-
yourself make mistake, but try every mistake to do once.
Yeah.
Once is enough.
Yeah, I've done it like some
Yeah.
mistakes. I've done it like
Yeah,
10 times in a row. It's so
However
annoying.
much you need, but until you will learn the lesson that is coming through
Yeah.
those stories, you will experience the same cycle again and again and
Yeah.
again, asking yourself why, how, when will it over? Whenever you
Yeah.
could look at the fact that this is the same lesson that you've been getting for the last 6 fucking months,
Yeah.
like it,
Yeah,
it
you
will
know
never
those moments
change.
you're like, oh my God, it happens to me again?
Yeah.
Oh, this happens to me all the time.
Yeah.
No, guys, this don't happen to you all the time.
Yeah,
You
it's-
let it happen
it's
to
the
you all
same
the time
thing.
because you haven't learned from your lessons.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Let's pivot to something nice. Tell me a little bit about the relationship with your with this island, your relationship with this place, the energy that you get when you come here.
Wow, fuck, that's... Okay.
Because this island is special.
Well, for 10 years, I was not able to come back here. Let me tell you that every fucking single day I was crying about it. And I was like,
know.
I miss my island.
I know.
I should be there. Like, really, like, I miss it so much.
I know the feeling.
Because every person that knows this. It's like, once you come to KohPhanCast, even for the first time, the time that you go away and you get on that fucking boat, everybody cries. Like if you're going away for a while and you know you're not going to come back for a while,
Yeah.
you don't know when you're going to come back. That's the worst.
You coming here and immediately
God.
something changes.
Yeah.
Something in your heart
Yeah.
open. Something in your soul is calmer. The energy that surrounds this place
Yeah.
is just unbelievable. Like have a healing quality to it, and it's like absorb the shit that you are going through,
Yeah.
and suddenly everything is clear. But at the same time, if your habits, like I always look at it as like a magnifying glass, you know.
Yeah.
If your habits are good, they are gonna get better. If your habits are bad, they are gonna get
Exactly,
worse.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. This is very, because a lot of people are coming here and be like, well, they heard about us or about like other people being like, yeah, this is a cool place. So everybody wants to come here, but beware.
Yeah.
Because I've seen so many people being
Get
like
sucked.
drowned
Yeah.
to drama, drowned
Yeah.
to the darkness.
To
Like,
bullshit.
oh my God, there's so many bullshit. So I also feel like I have fibromyalgia, diagnosed about 8 years ago. Fibromyalgia is a nerve sickness, and it goes, you know, with all the nerves, the muscle, like the really like the stress and psychological as well. And I feel so much better here. Like in Europe, I would get crisis all the time, and here I just basically don't really get crisis. I just sleep it off, and it's much better. And I don't take any treatment for it here or anything like that. And I feel fine. I breathe much better. Well, not now, not right now, because I've been crying. But like, not really. Like I feel. I've had so many problems lately, like so many drama. Like my dad passing away was the
Again,
biggest.
so sorry for your loss, you know.
Thank
like
you so much.
it's never easy, those things, you know.
Yeah, but
like,
okay, that was really hard, and I'm going through it, but I'm okay. You know, like every drama that happened recently, I'm okay.
yeah.
And for 10 years in France, I was just so depressed.
Mm-hmm.
I was like gasping for air,
Yeah.
and I really like struggling on every single thing. I'm okay today. I'm happy to say. I'm also grateful for all my friends on the island, for all the community helping me, for like waking up every morning with my little rescue dog, Eden, that I share with a friend because she's back in France now, and I'm grateful to wake up to this beautiful beach where I can stay on, because my good friend Paula is helping me as well. Like so many people giving me love, attention, and help and solutions, and not just like letting me die in a ditch, you know. Like
Yeah. You're not alone.
no, exactly. I'm
Yeah.
with my family, the Pangan family.
Yeah.
That's so fucking cool. So I am blessed, and yeah, the energy you have here. There's also a lot of bad people and
Yeah.
some.
You just need
Charlatans.
to listen to your guts when it tells you not to do something
Exactly.
or to do something, because not everybody is pure as I would like to have them, you know. Like for years I thought that everybody was my friend, that
Oh my God, you too?
I can trust everyone and I can
So
be
naive.
whoever I am with everyone, and like it's not like that. Some people will take advantage of it,
Yeah,
and you cannot do anything but learn, you know.
yeah. It's
And I
like,
don't think they are bad. I think they just had bad experiences in their life. They think that like life, that's what life is, you know, like the treatment they
Yeah.
got as kids, you know.
yeah, yeah.
In
you
1
can't judge.
second of your life, you could have turned like to the worst
Yeah.
person alive, because you know what? I have the trauma. Fuck that. I don't need anyone. I don't need to be nothing. I can be a bitch as much as I want and
Exactly.
fuck everything. But you didn't choose that road. You chose to go to the route that, like, to suppress this feeling and to be better, to allow yourself to feel, to allow yourself to be.
Yeah,
And I'm super thankful for you of being like that.
thank you.
And those are almost 2 hours.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck, that's crazy. I still
Yeah.
have so much to talk about.
Yeah. And I really
Wow.
appreciate you being here. And I think after
Me
2
too.
hours,
I feel so much better.
you're the best, and I love you a lot.
Me too.
For more, a lot to come, guys. Peace.
Join the journey, stay for